Hey guys, welcome to iSchoolConnect. Like every week, we have some really interesting content lined up for you, which is, of course, about studying abroad. So, this week we thought about talking about something that not a lot of you are aware of, and that is how do you actually fill in an application? Right? So when you're applying to a university, you will basically entering all your details on a form. So we thought we'll take one example and we'll show you what all you need to fill in. And so we've taken University of Florida's example, but this is pretty much applicable to any university that you'll be applying to, right? So University of Florida is just an example. So let's dive right in and check out everything, all the different aspects of the application right now.
All right. So once you reach this section, you'll see that there are various ways you can apply to the university. So we'll go through the university application process. Now, if you're a first-time user, you will have to create a new account for yourself. Now that we already have our login, uh, we already have an account over here. I'm just going to go ahead and enter my details and log in with the details. Now, once I have logged in, I'm going to go ahead and create an application. Now, in our case, we have created an application, so we're going to go ahead and open this and check out what all you need to enter when you're filling in the form. So, this is the application. I'm applying for fall 2020. This is for Florida, Orlando. I'm looking at a Florida Tech application for a graduate degree. Right. So graduate doesn't mean a bachelor's here. Graduate means post graduation, as a lot of you may know. It's also called master's. So as you can see, there are multiple sections available over here. We're going to start off with the personal background, and as we go, we'll be going to each of these sections and filling in all the respective forms. So the personal background, of course, has some basic information that they'll require. So here we've entered some basic details, just so. Now what's next, right? So you continue, and this takes you to the next section of the application. All right. So next you have the application form. So where would you like to study? Of course, there are different options. There's a main campus, there's a Florida campus, and there's an online option. Now we are looking at the Florida campus at Orlando. What is the kind of course? Then yes, it's masters. What would you like to study? Among all these options, this is the option I wanted to go ahead with, and I am I have entered that. I'm looking at 2020 fall. You can also choose your summer option, but then that really depends on when you want to go. When will you be attending a full-time or part-time course? Of course, full-time, because that's the option that we want to go ahead with. All right, so we are heading off to the next section, which is academic history, which in basic layman terms is what you've studied so far. So we are looking at entering your high school information and, of course, your graduation information, because here she's applying for masters. So whatever she's done until recently is what she's going to apply. She's going to enter. So here, either, of course, since you will be entering all this information afresh, you can add a new institution and you can go ahead and enter your basic information. Of course, for any institute that you have studied at, you will have to give the transcript, right? So this is going to be considered unofficial, what you submit here. This is just for record that you're submitting it, but your transcripts will have to reach the university from the university where you've studied, right? Of course, through the transcripts, when you send them across, you will be paying a certain small fee to the institute who is sending these transcripts on your behalf. I'm just gonna select, and yep, there you go. Right, so we are good over here. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna continue with the test scores. Now test scores, of course, if it's a tech application, then you will be, of course, sharing your GRE scores, and since you are from another country, international students are recommended to give the IELTS or maybe a TOEFL, depending on which English proficiency test you would like to give. And next, after we've entered our test scores, we're gonna go ahead and enter some family information. Now, this is they would expect you to write some very basic information about your closest kith and kin. Now, it's as simple as this. We've already pre-filled this. Next is again a super important aspect of your application. So you will be entering your letter of recommendation details over here, right? So you will not directly enter your letter of recommendation details. You'll basically be entering details of the person who is going to write you the letter of recommendation. So obviously, the letter of recommendation should be coming from somebody who is pretty credible in the field that you're interested, right? So we've entered dean details here, and we've left a personal a message for the recommender. And once you enter these details, you can send this particular form to the person who is recommending you. So this is pretty much it with the recommendation section. Next comes the employment section. So if you are someone who is working with a company, then this makes sense for you. Again, we've pre-filled this, so basically you will have to just go ahead, add employer, and I add all your details. So here we've pre-filled the details. So I've added the organization's name, the place I was working, from when to when I was working, and of course the title. To finish it off, you will be giving your signature, which is basically your name, and that's about it. And to close it off, we will be reviewing whatever we've submitted. If there are any glitches, this is where you will be informed that okay, you've not entered it, right? So that's pretty much it. You then go ahead and you submit your application. And remember that once you submit your application, you will not be able to make any changes. So let's just say that we are ready now to submit the application. We're going to go ahead and submit it. And we submit the application. There you go. So application status from Myra is right here. And so most universities have an application fee. So once you submit your application fee, your application will be processed, right? So it says that you need to enter your resume, your recommendation is being awaited. So all of these need to be there. So of course, there you go. So we have the resume right there. And once you've uploaded it, you're good, right? So once you're done here, you will be pretty much receiving a confirmation of sorts from the university, where they will be telling you that they are ready to process your application. Of course, make sure everything has been submitted to them, and that's about it. Your application will then be in process for a seat at the university, and hopefully you will receive it.
Alright, so I hope that was useful, and if you have any doubts, you know what to do. Please fill in all your comments right here down below, and we'll make sure, like always, we'll answer all your queries. Until next time, this is Malvika signing off. I hope you have a great day ahead. See ya!